This statement is a universally accepted dictum, indicating that we are the captains of our souls, if the poet William Henry's Invictus is to be paraphrased. And this is a fact that mankind have not been able to come to terms with. We have not been able to grasp the simplicity and enormity of the simply natural law of reciprocity, the principle of sowing and reaping. Where you plant rice, you cannot reap mango. This law is only part of the single law that govern creation, which can only be described as the law of love, and, in a higher form, the wise use of abilities. To follow this trend of thought, every human spirit that finds itself incarnated on Earth is endowed with abilities it is expected to use on Earth. More accurately, the soul activates its own gifts due to the free will granted him. There are millions of abilities that lie dormant in every soul, but each individual can only activate the one he feels inclines to. The rest are dormant within him, and can still be activated. But to activate these abilities in full and develop the wherewithal for onwards flight towards the heights, an internal journey that leads each soul back to paradise, where it can call home, we may need incarnations and various reincarnations. Ideally, if things were to be the way it was initially planned, human beings do not need to have reincarnated more than 10 times before returning home as a flame. But due to the fact that most human souls, in their efforts to follow their minds so to say, entangle themselves in activities that weakens their gaze upwards and binds them to the world of matter. Religious people call it sin, though in modern times there has been so much confusion on what actually comprises sin. Humans have lost the simple fact that anything that deviates from what is natural is sin, if sin is to be defined in simple terms. Thus dogma replaces sin, and it became lost to humans that each race has its own definition of sin based on the spiritual maturity of such a race, but I digress. There is a constant weaving in the whole of our universe that we are part of, that every object around us has its own radiation, from the simple stone to the galaxies. Thus it was that astrology developed out of a study of the effects of our stronger neighbors the sun and the moon on our destiny, based on the time we chose to incarnate on Earth. With this it can be possible to calculate what fate may befall anyone by calculating the birth time, how the sun, the moon, and various planets position against or are related to each other at birth. With this we can calculate the so-called favorable moments and unfavorable moments that the one involved could avoid, so many depend on such astrological calculations for their day-to-day life. But they are not aware that there are more undiscovered heavenly bodies may even have higher influence on his natal chart than the ones hitherto known, and therefore that the chart may even have an opposite effect to the dictates of the astrologer. Besides, fear that emanates from the fact that a specific period is of bad karma could increase the negative effect. And that brings me to the most important issue of horoscopes, the human Su itself. His psychic condition at any given point determines whether a favorable karma will remain favorable or not. Most of the so-called karmic burden come from activities in their previous lives. If at the present incarnation the soul has completely changed for the better, unfavorable conditions will only be a time of quiet respite without evil karma. The astrologer is not wrong, but the man changed. So, in our own bosom lies our destiny, not necessarily the stars. For the stars react only to what comes from our bosom. My name is Uche. If you like this video, please like, subscribe and hit the bell button so I can send similar videos to you when available. Also use the comment sections for your comments and questions and I will get back to you. Thank you.